Right, so here we are in front of we're right in front of the spirit safe. There are 3 bowls here. One to the left, one to the middle, and one to the right. The one in the middle is where the magic happens. It's the sweet spot. Once the whiskey's hit the sweet spot, the distiller will switch it into the middle and catch the middle cup, yes?
That new make spirit, yep.
Yeah.
About 72% alcohol by volume.
Oh, that's high. Oh.
Clear and colourless, yeah.
Wow. So that's that one. And here we have the spirit safe behind us. And the safes here all have names. And you just told me, but the camera wasn't rolling, so...
Okay. So the 2 stills are named. The wash still at the front we saw earlier, that's called Susan. And the spirit still is called Rachel. And they're named after our founders' wives. So Susan is named after Susan Mills, and Rachel is named after Rachel Curry, Paul Curry's wife, there. And you can just see here the condensers at the back there. So in this second distillation, as you see, it's broken down into 3 parts.
Yes.
And for the first 15 or 20 minutes, what comes off is called the heads or the foreshots.
Yep.
So that goes into that faints receiver. And that's an old Scottish word meaning bad whiskey.
Yeah.
And then for the next 2 hours, we get the heart or the mid-cut.
Yeah.
That's our 72% alcohol by volume. But we only collect about 400 to 500 litres. That's all. It's a very narrow cut. And then after that, as the distillation continues and the alcohol content drops, it's diverted back into that faints receiver.
Via Rachel. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a shame the camera can't see, but it's like an aquarium with 3 bowls in it. And maybe we can have a little look. So there we have it. And we have, of course, here inside, measuring tools to measure the alcohol, to know when to switch from the foreshot to the middle.
So yes, the 3 chambers. The first chamber comes from Susan, so that's that low wines, about 24% alcohol. Then we collect that, put that into Rachel for the second distillation. That goes into the middle chamber, where there's not 1, there's 2 receivers. One is for faints. That's a good Scottish word there, meaning bad whiskey. And then the other one is for our spirit. So there's an automated valve on the top there, and that diverts the flow from one vessel to another. But the distillers can manually measure the alcohol content there, using those cylinders, measure the specific gravity, correct it for temperature, and then look it up in tables, so they can manually do that. But this automated distillery is more consistent. So it's producing a consistent quality spirit, which we know will stand up to that sherry cask maturation.
Wonderful.
But the bulk of the spirit goes through that copper condenser behind us there. We've also got a stainless steel condenser, and we are using both, but the bulk of the spirit goes through the copper side there. That gives us that medium-bodied, creamy, fruity spirit. You get a different character. It's more medium to heavy, and you get more of the sulfates where you use the stainless steel condenser.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, it's very important that it's copper that is used for the contact with where the spirit's in contact with, because that will take away sulfurous types of odors and tastes, which distillates tend to make by themselves, and copper interacts. Or maybe you've got a better explanation.
No, that sounds perfect. Yeah, I mean, the copper basically helps remove impurities. With that long, slow fermentation, we do get more of those sulfur compounds generated.
Yeah.
So they adhere to the wall on the inside of the still.
Yeah.
And then that's why the stills are checked on an annual basis, as over time we wear that copper surface away. So these have got a shelf life, expected working life of around about 15 years. So we're just 8 years old here, so they're halfway through that expected working life here.
Incredible. Wonderful. Right. Wow, look, this one in the corner is a completely different shape, huh?
That's our gin and vodka still. It's
right.
Completely different. Much smaller, only about 1,500 litres.
Okay.
But for the gin and the vodka, we use a wheat-based spirit.
Okay.
So that we buy that in. It's very pure. It's 96% alcohol
Oh my
by
goodness.
volume.
Okay.
A neutral grain spirit. And we classically distill that. It takes 1 day to make vodka, 2 days to make gin. And there's no maturation at all.
No. It looks like a giant alembic, yeah?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah?
Much smaller. That, slightly differently, doesn't have steam pipes on the inside.
No.
So
Okay.
when we add the botanicals, it doesn't burn the botanicals in there
Oh,
when
right.
we're making gin. So it's heated externally.
And it gets infused.
Yeah.
Just
So
like
what
making the tea, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a really good description because we weigh out all the 9 different botanicals. They go into the still with the water, with the wheat alcohol.
Yeah.
Then it's heated up.
Okay.
And then what happens is we turn the heat off. It's left overnight to steep for up to 16 hours. All the essential oils transfer into the liquid. And the following day, it's a long, slow distillation. You can just see above the bulb there, there's a cooling band on the neck of the still. So when we're making vodka, that's cooled. So the vapor rises, gets as far as that cooling band, it condenses, and then it falls almost like rain back into the still below.
Okay.
So during that 10-hour distillation, the alcohol is constantly being redistilled.
10
and it
hours?
produces an exceptionally smooth vodka.
Wow.
In 2019, our Lakes vodka was voted the world's best classic neutral spirit vodka. So it's an award-winning vodka, as well as award-winning malt spirit.
So they've had the world's best single malt whiskey and the world's best vodka.
Yeah.
How's that for something? And we'll have later on. We'll have a little taste and we'll talk about it. So we'll leave it that just now.
Okay.
See you in a minute.